We are live. We are live. Good evening, everybody. Happy Sunday. We are excited about this broadcast. We are here today talking about cryptocurrency and all the things that it entails. Well, I would say the beginner's crash course, right, on cryptocurrency. And we wanted to have this conversation today, and so we're excited about this broadcast. I would like to introduce myself as Amaru.
Hi guys, welcome into the Cocoon Room. I'm Candace.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm Kenny. I'm the guest on the show today. Do I need to go into details of who I am, or can I just say I'm Kenny and just leave it here?
And Ken, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Because we understand that you work in this space and in this field of cryptocurrency. So we would just like some background, right, on what you do here and enlighten our audience of your experience here in this field.
Oh, great. So, quick background on myself is that I went to Indiana University for my computer science bachelor's degree, minor in business administration. Further decided to go to George Washington University here in DC for my master's in computer science, but switched to business for sure. But I have a lot of background in cryptography, computer science management, systems management, infrastructure designs, and so on and so forth. And long story short, I've co-founded several businesses, even to the point of traveling to Nigeria to co-found an airline. But after getting back from Nigeria, I decided that I needed to go back and focus on some of the things I've really enjoyed doing ever since I was a child. So that was how my new business partner and I came up with Stack, which is what you see on my chest. And the goal of Stack is to empower people to build to build wealth through digital currencies. One of the major ones that we focus on is Bitcoin, which is one of the core solutions out there that can actually liberate, especially us people in our community, to build wealth in a way that allows you to store value without losing that value over time.
Kenny, just a second. I just received a message from one of the viewers. They said there's no sound; they can't hear it. Is that something on our end?
Oh, they can't hear me?
Probably speak up. I think you need to speak up a little bit.
Okay, let me get my mic closer there.
But can you guys hear me okay, though?
I can hear you.
I can hear you clearly. Okay. Yeah, I can hear everybody else on the show.
Okay, and so make a long story short, because he was introducing, giving out his experience and his, collegiate education, right? This is something that you do every day. This is something that you're very heavily invested in.
Yeah, so Stack, we've been doing Stack for 2 years. The business started about 3 years ago after I got back from Nigeria, after my failed business in Nigeria. Started back on doing investing in investment space. So all that AMC and GME, we experienced all that stuff. But we decided to start focusing mainly on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies 2 years ago. And we've been doing that since then. So like I'm sitting out here right now and I have a screen of Bitcoin on my desk monitoring what's going on with the charts. We do training and education on Bitcoin on a daily basis. If you want to learn more about how to invest in Bitcoin, we can do consulting services with you to show you how to invest in the space, or how to what do you call it? How to implement Bitcoin with your businesses if that's what you want to do as well, or how do you invest in Bitcoin for your retirement, all that kind of stuff. We can sit down and show you how to do.
Okay. But before we get started, because I know we want to, dive heavily into this conversation. We want to, keep our traditional routine, right? And so we want to start off with our scripture. And so I'll get it for you, Kent.
All right. Okay. Thank you, guys. Our scripture for today is from Hebrews 11:1, and it is about faith. So faith is the confidence in what we hope for, and the assurance about what we do not see. So I know I wanted to just kind of go with the faith. I've been working on that for probably since maybe March. I mean, I've always had faith, but that's kind of been like in my Bible study since March. So I wanted to just kind of jump that, dive in there and have that as our scripture for this session. So thank you.
Then I would also like for you to, because we had some topics we wanted to speak about before we get into this conversation, and so one of them was generational wealth. And go ahead.
Okay, so thank you. So I really want to say thank you to Ken for coming in and actually teaching us about Bitcoin and also about investments in cryptocurrency, because the goal in life is to continue to grow. And so I thought it would be a great idea is to talk to you guys about generational wealth. And by learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, it will be one of the ways that you guys can provide generational wealth for your family. So our definition that we have for generational wealth, it refers to any kind of asset that the family passes down to their children or grandchildren in the form of cash, investments, stocks, bonds, properties, or entire companies.
Okay, and then we also have the wealth definition, right? Wealth is being the measure of value of assets minus any debit and liabilities that any person owns. So basically, that's an accounting principle, and so I see this all the time. So it was so funny when we was coming up with these definitions and stuff. I'm back into business one-on-one classes, and so. But this is a very good and interesting conversation because a lot of times we do have a lot of questions surrounding, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, the terms, the jargon, right? Because we see it all the time through social media. We see it on the internet all the time. These weird signs, right? It says NFT and, what was it, blockchain. And I'm like, what does all this stuff mean? And so, we're glad that you're here because you can explain to us. We're going to call you Professor Ken for today, right? So you can break down some of these terms. And so we got questions for you. You have any opening remarks before we get started, Ken?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I did not know that you were going to give Hebrews 11:1 today. I used to be a studious Bible student until I started venturing and asking questions. Um, that said, that said, your opening statements are actually perfect with what we're talking about today. They say have faith, right? And it's, having faith in something that you don't see today, but you know that it will be there tomorrow. That's the definition of investment. Literally, that's the definition of investment because if you want to build wealth, you don't see wealth today, but you put in the work now, right? The Bible says that, if you don't work, you'll not eat. So you put in the work now. How do you put in the work? So what we're trying to teach our people today is how to put in the work without necessarily laboring and killing our body and expanding our energy through other means, like investments, right? Stocks, Bitcoin, and everything else. And then being able to build that wealth so that in the future, even if you don't see it, your children will see it. So yeah, Hebrews 11, all the good wisdom in the Bible are still kicking butt today.
Thank you, Ken. You know I can't start the show off without that Bible scripture.
But with
Hey,
that said, also we like to pivot too because this is, and I'm excited too because he is a fellow Word alumni, right? And so,
let's go,
uh,
troopers! Woo-hoo!
yes, so this is very cool. So to get started, right, one of the questions that I have, right, because I've, we in this kind of the same space. When I was in undergrad, my undergrad was in finance. That's one of my majors. And then another one was supply chain management. Just to my own
Mm.
source. So I know a little bit about but my expertise is in accounting. Everyone knows, right? And so the first question I have, and I said this to him right before the show, but so explain what's the difference between crypto or cryptocurrency, if I'm using the jargon correctly, and stocks and bonds.
Yeah, let me start from the easiest one, right? Let's go with bonds. Bonds are like almost like super low risk. Just imagine where the federal government needs money, right? So they can buy or they can offer to sell a paper that says that they will give you an interest of
Yes.
whatever it is. They will take your money. The government will borrow your money. By the way, that's another old definition because you gotta understand money before you understand bonds. So money is you and I will go to work or we'll put in some kind of energy, and we'll store the value of that energy that we put in, because time is money as well, right? So we're
Absolutely.
sitting down here, we're generating money for Facebook, right? We're trying to generate money for ourselves, because eventually you're going to get, viewership, and then you can get some sponsors, and then you store that sponsorship in money, right? You can loan that money, you can store it in money, you can loan that money now to the government, and the government will give you a paper saying that they will give you back 2%, 3% if they can hold on to your money for 10 years, for 2 years, for 5 years. So you have I bonds and all these different kind of bonds out there. So that's bonds, right? It's governments protected, banks based. You have CDs, which are on the lower banks levels. So that's what bonds do. And then you have stocks. So we'll say Black Butterfly becomes a multi-million-dollar company 5 years from now, and then you say you want to go public. It's what they call IPO, right? You want to go public. So the goal is that you go through this whole process of looking at your paperwork, your profit, your revenues, amount of employees you have. They see that you have a strong business model. You want to go either on the S&P, Russell 500, Nasdaq, and then it becomes a symbol or where people get to own a part of your company. You go public. Right now, you guys are a private organization. So when you go public, it becomes a stock. So people have a share, or there's common shares, right? And then there's private shares. So you
Yes.
get to own common shares of that company, and you own a percentage. And based on the size that you have, you might have some voting rights to vote on some of the decisions that the company is making. So that stocks. That's what everybody today does.
Right.
Is it very
Okay.
efficient? It's a long process. It actually makes it very difficult for folks like you and I to go public, because it's a very hard process. A lot of us don't go public easily. So then you have crypto. So crypto is short for cryptography. So cryptocurrency is cryptographic currencies, right? And a lot of people mix Bitcoin with cryptography, cryptocurrencies. Those two are different. So I just want people to know that today. That's one of the reasons why actually I'm on this show, to help people better understand the difference between Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
Bitcoin was the original godfather. Let's just remember that. So everybody remember that the godfather of everything cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. And what Bitcoin aims to do was what I was explaining to you guys earlier about money. Money now, when you and I work for money, we put it in the bank. The banks are charging us fees to store our money, right?
Yes.
The banks,
Mm-hmm.
right? The bigger banks are doing inflationary monetary policies that reduces the value of your money over time. So your money is literally dying just sitting there and doing nothing. The fact that you're
Right.
breathing, your money is dying, right? So your money is dying. So Bitcoin's like, we can fix that, right? Well, we can try to store your money in something that is not influenced by external factors. So that's what
Okay.
Bitcoin is trying to do. It's trying to
Well,
fix the money issue.
let me stop
But
you right
then,
there. Let me stop you right there. So
yeah,
what you're saying is, so in other words, so like because stocks can be um attributed
manipulated
to a
eventually.
particular company like
Yep,
Amazon,
yep,
Google, right? The bonds
yep,
are attributed to the government, right? They give you the piece of paper, say, hey, like a CD, like you said, right? We'll
yep.
give you this much percent. This will be your ROI
Hmm.
based on the terms that you agreed upon, right?
The
And
timeline,
so,
yep.
you said so. Bitcoin is basically something that is it doesn't have any entity as far as it's attached to. Am I interpreting that
So
correctly?
yes and no. It does not have. Well, it was founded by Nakamoto, right? But the guy removed himself from the ownership of the system, right?
Okay.
So that there's no that that's this the whole idea of centralization is removed. It's decentralized. So right now, Bitcoin basically runs off proof of work, which goes back to the old
Mm,
energy thing where you have to consume energy. A computer has to solve a very strong mathematical equation with a bunch of algorithms, and that's to break the cryptography. Once it does that, right, it stores that inside sets of blocks. I don't want to get too technical. We can go
right,
deeper
right,
into
right.
that later, right? But it's just a mathematical way of saying that a computer does work, and then the work that it does creates a currency, and then we get to store that currency inside a ledger,
Okay,
a
gotcha.
public ledger where everybody gets it. Same thing in accounting, except for it's money. You can just print any amount of money, but with Bitcoin, you can only print 21 million of it, which controls the old issue that we have with money now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So I have
So yeah,
a question for you.
yeah. Go
I have
ahead.
a question for you, Ken. Just off of personal experience, I think I shared this with you, Marcus, and Eugene when we had our conference a while ago. That when
Yep.
I went to, I have a Roth IRA,
Hmm.
because I'm self-employed now, and when I went to contribute to it, you know how they give you the balance. I was like, hey, it's subtracting, right? And I'm like, if
Mhm.
I'm looking
Hmm.
for increase for retirement, why is there a subtraction from my balance? And they're basically saying like, "Are we charging you this fee and service fee and maintenance fee?" And I'm like, "Oh wow!" I was just like, now I feel like I have to put more in there if you're thinking about what inflation looks like, how the market keeps changing and different things like that. So, I mean, to me, it's really not a win-win situation if you're storing your money in the bank and they are charging you all these different fees.
Yeah, that's a major point. So the initial purpose of the bank, this is if we go back a century ago, maybe even, um, yeah, 1870s or so. The bank was just allowed to store your money, right? They store your money for you, and then they give you this IOU. It's a paper that says, okay, the bank owns your money. You can now take that IOU to go out there and buy stuff. Same thing with gold, right? The only issue with that now is this: the banks no longer do that. Banks take your money and they invest it to other businesses. So your money
Mhm.
is never really in the bank. It's just virtually there on paper or on the computer screen. But the bank is only required to keep 10% of the deposits of everybody's deposit in the bank. So if you go tomorrow to your bank and say, hey, give me back my 20K, they're like, I'm sorry, you can't withdraw 20K today. You can only withdraw 5K. You're like, what the? You better give
Yeah.
me my money. But
That's a true
that's what.
story. I worked at Chase Bank in undergrad. We had a guy who he like traded cars. He was going to Italy for like Formula One, and he came to get like 100 grand. We didn't have it, so we had to tell him like, we can order it for you and it'll be back next week. He's like, no, I'm catching a flight. Like, I need my money
Yeah,
now. So it's a true story.
yeah. Yeah. So exactly, and that's one of the things that Bitcoin does is that you don't have to go to the bank to get approval to take your money. If it's stored digitally, you can literally go to Italy tomorrow and just get to Italy and still access your money without the limitations of border limits. You can only transfer 20K or 40K within a day to another country. All that BS is gone. So it solves
Mhm.
that. Now let's quickly talk about cryptocurrencies before we make this a long conversation because
Yes.
I can
Yes.
talk forever about this thing. So cryptocurrencies, yeah. So cryptocurrencies are the other guys, and Ethereum is like the boss of them all, right? Ethereum is like, oh, I like what Bitcoin is doing, but you know what? Let me try to be the boss of this and do the same thing Bitcoin is trying to do, but now introduce smart contracts, DeFi, and NFTs and all this other stuff. So what cryptocurrencies are doing, you have stable coins, you have people trying to introduce CBDCs. We got to talk about that because we all know we don't want the government to control money entirely. Because if they
Right.
control money entirely, then we're screwed, totally screwed. So cryptocurrencies are a different version of Bitcoin, except for they are centralized. When I say centralized, I own the company. I'm doing what Bitcoin is trying to do, but I get to create the money. Bitcoin, the mining machines have to mine the Bitcoin. In Ethereum, which is still a mining situation, they're trying to move to proof of stake. All this terminology that you guys will learn eventually. They're trying to
Yeah.
move to proof of stake where you can just print money, just create money like what you do right now with stocks and because with stocks you can just say, hey, I have 1 million shares of my company today. Oh, but my company is doing well. Let's go ahead and print and say we have 2 more million shares of the company and you dilute the shares of the company. You can do that with Ethereum as well. You can do that with the other cryptocurrencies as well. So they're not decentralized. So you have BlackRock and all this World Economic Forum investing in all these companies. So how do you say you're trying to get away from centralized control and you're still going to invest in all these cryptocurrencies that are controlled by people that are destroying the value of your money today?
Okay. So that makes sense. So, and if you're watching, we thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please post them in the comment section, right? And so,
Yeah,
I would like
actually,
to
we're
move.
ready.
So I'd like to move into the next question, right? Uh, and which is one of the questions that I always hear: what apps are out there to get started with cryptocurrency?
Stop calling it cryptocurrency. Let's just call it Bitcoin and
Bitcoin,
cryptocurrencies.
yes,
Yeah,
Bitcoin. Go
but I
ahead.
would I would encourage folks to do Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies can make you rich. I'm not saying not to invest in Dogecoin and Shiba Inu. We call them altcoins or shitcoins. Forgive me for saying the word shit, but that's what's called.
Yeah.
Um, And I also invest in some of them because I'm not trying to be poor. I'm trying to be wealthy as well. But I
Yeah,
know where the real thing is. I invest in Bitcoin.
yeah.
I like to tell people that everybody want to get rich tomorrow. People want to be wealthy tomorrow, and they want to know what to get started right away. I don't want people to just jump into the space, because the human psychology. You guys are both psychology students. People want to get rich quickly. They get hungry and they start jumping into all this other stuff. We've been through it. We've been through it. We've lost money. Uh, all of this quick money schemes out there. So just chill down, calm down. First, understand money, which we should probably talk about in the next few shows. Once you understand money and you understand what Bitcoin is trying to fix, now let's talk about what apps you can get started with. But I will say though, if you already know some of this stuff, some of the apps that you can get started with right now is the simple apps that are right there in front of you. Cash App and Strike are already on the Light Network. They allow you to move your Bitcoin around. So your Cash App right there can allow you to buy Bitcoin.
Okay, I did
Um,
not know that. Okay,
your Strike can allow you to buy Bitcoin.
okay.
Does it matter what price you're getting it for? Yeah, there are some other apps that I know that those of us that do technical analysis can jump on this baby and like literally set limit orders to buy it at the right time that we think is the right time to buy it. You have solutions like KuCoin, you have Binance, you have OKCoin. Those are the exchanges, but I'm trying to encourage people to get out of exchanges and move their coins to what we call a ledger. This is what a ledger looks like. Which is say not your keys, not your coin. So basically, the goal is to prevent all the manipulation going on the exchanges. So we can talk about that later on. But for the
Yeah.
basics, use your Strike, use your Cash App, use KuCoin, use Binance. Those are some good okay places. Don't use Coinbase. Don't use Robinhood.
Okay. Okay.
Your money is not safe there.
Okay. So
You
that's
said,
good.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm sorry. Do not use, which one was it? Robinhood?
Don't use Robinhood. Although Robinhood recently, last week announced that they allow you to move your Bitcoin around. Uh, but you know what Robinhood did to us with the old GameStop and the AMC situation? I literally made $36,000 after some research from November to January. And I wake up one morning, I'm $36,000 richer, and I can't exit my trade. Um, so I personally just will say, don't mess with Robinhood.
Okay.
And
So
yes, Tim Rowe is right. Cash App is one of the ones that you should definitely use.
okay, cool.
Thank you, Tim.
Got some comments. Yep. Thank you, Tim, for your comment. Thank you for supporting the show. So basically, this is Marcus. Shout out to Mark. What's up, brother? So basically, folks, when folks get paid on Fridays, $2,300 a week check, take $500 and put it in that metal. Yes, investing.
And real
Invest.
Yeah,
quick,
so
Eugene, can you pull down that message from Crystal? I'm sorry. It was just a follow up off of our definition. She says the Bible says a man should leave an inheritance for his kids and his kids. Correct. That's generational wealth.
oh,
Thank you, sister.
that is fire. Now, can I jump in that real quick?
I'm
No, no, no,
sorry.
no, no, no. That one right there gives me chills. That gives me chills. That is some serious fire right there. So, how we graduate high school, right? And then we
Yes.
go to college. We all acquire college debt. Nobody taught us about not to touch credit cards and all that stuff, right?
Yes.
Because that's what our community did not know, right? And then 30, you turn 30 and you finally catching what some people knew when they were teenagers, right? This is the goal for everybody watching the show right now. Do not be self-centered, because what you want, because people that run this nation, people that run your state, that run your city, these are family empires. And we need to come back to that. We've lost a lot of this over slavery over the years. And it's only a matter of time. It's just discipline, right? Think about your kids. Think about the next generation. So I have a public account that I used to invest. And actually, if you're on this show, if you need my public link, I'll be glad to share it. Public allows you to invest in stocks. And they're currently working on introducing other stuff. They also allow you to buy crypto, but you don't own your keys. So I buy crypto on there just to encourage people, but it doesn't allow you to own your keys, so I don't encourage that. But the reason why I do that is to start something for my kids, right? Teach your kids about being entrepreneurs, teach your kids about starting businesses and investing early. And Omari was just saying that. What's his name? He just made the comment about take $500 out of the $2,500 that you make a month. Literally,
Mark,
my
Marcus.
entire paycheck, micros. Once my entire bills are paid every month, which actually before my check comes in, the auto deduction into my Roth IRA and my 401k has happened. So like retirement is set. Once bills are paid off, and we talked about that a few shows back when you guys were talking about the different bank accounts that people must have. Once all those are set up, man, the rest of it is investment.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, you don't need to see them Jordans in my shoe to know that I got money. The money is in the right places. You know what I'm saying?
That what's funny? I love that because I remember when I was going to undergrad, and I was a little older, and I started my undergrad. I was 27, and so uh, I was going to school class with 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. They'd be like, "Why are you always wearing sweats and pajamas all the time?" And I used to always say that, I'm not here to impress y'all with my clothes. I'm here to impress the professors with my mind. So I was always different in that. And so it goes along with the comment about the inheritance. I was always thinking forward, like thinking about my grandkids. You understand what I'm saying? Because I had purpose. Like I need to get my degree so I get a job so I can start, breaking generational curses and breaking generational world. So
Did you pull your wife with your sweats? Because women.
I had no sweats when I pulled her, bro. That was all. See, I was up in that joint just like this. When I pulled her, I had no sweats on. I met her at my cousin's wedding, and so she was the wedding coordinator. So no, but over time she adjusted to the sweatpants, and she cuts them up when I wear them now. So yeah, so no, it wasn't a pool thing. No, it wasn't. I had no game in that. So absolutely not.
So your game in college was dead.
Yes, yes. We got some comments here. I feel like parents should have bank accounts for their children. Yes, and
I agree with that.
the 529 is what we can be setting up. We could talk about because those are other things I want to talk about too with you. 529 accounts for your kids and all that. But I have one with my daughter now. I gotta get the other two set up too. But I absolutely agree with that. Sookie, I always say friends don't let friends use Robin Hood.
I have a question for you, Ken. I am licensed in life insurance, health insurance, and property and casualty. So
Yes.
the one thing I'm asking about is, when I had my own agency in my 20s, but I had a hard time convincing African Americans to buy life insurance for their families. It was easier to get them to get car insurance because everybody likes a nice car, but they didn't see the value in getting life insurance for their family. And I know oftentimes people I don't want to benefit off of someone dying. None of us do. But at the end, you see people on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, asking, for funds like the GoFundMe. But I will say that, life insurance, if someone does passes away with a terminal illness or things like that, it restores the family to the level of income that they were used to, because whatever you had, like homes, cars, colleges, it kind of sets a fund up that if the key breadwinner passes away, that the kids become stable, the wife becomes stable, and anything that you had, it pays it off. So I just kind of stress to people that although you feel like, you would benefit off of the policy, you don't look at it like that. You look at I want to make sure that when my loved one passes on, that we can grieve properly and we can put them, to rest. So I would suggest to people that if you don't have life insurance on your families, that you do get it. So that's just just throwing that out there.
Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
Can I put a multiplying effect on that? Candice sells life insurance. I'll repeat. Candice sells life insurance.
No. Listen, I'm licensed and I'm still licensed in it. However, I don't quite sell it now, but I you'll have no. But I'm still really close to people that I work with, and I can refer them out to life insurance agents. That's the thing. And I laugh when you talked about business 101 because guys, my undergrad was actually in business first, and then I went for psychology. So
yeah, you see how that works. Start businesses, and then now she want to be a psychologist. So she wants.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, you can be a psychologist and be a successful business psychologist and make a lot of money at that.
Yeah.
So back to the life insurance situation. My kids have life insurance. I'm not gonna go kill them one day and say, "Hey, I want your money." Those are my kids.
Hmm.
But here's the reality. This is one known fact. We're not promised tomorrow. You know how many of our classmates we've lost this year alone? It's
Yep.
Yeah.
crazy. We weren't planning that. Even though I've not showed up to any of the reunions, I should show up one of these days. That said, though, the reality is that all need life insurance. The life
Yeah.
insurance I have now, is a term life insurance, and I'm getting older, so I need to set up another one so that I can get for the other one as well. And I've also started making more income since the last life insurance that I had, and they say you have to multiply your income times 10, and that
That's
should be your
correct.
life insurance policy.
Mm.
So I am shopping for additional life insurance as well. My entire family is insured to the T. You gotta set it up. That's a
Whole life policy.
and no, but all life policy has this. Okay, see, this is when we start
Cash
talking
value.
business, right? Exactly. The one I have now, man. Once that sucker is over, give me back my money. I'm gonna go invest it.
That's term life. Do you have term life or whole life? There's a difference.
I have term life. My argument with all life is that if I bust my tail and I do what Stack is about to do, I'm about to make a lot more money. So instead of giving somebody else my money to invest it, I'm making just as much money investing it and giving it to somebody else as life insurance. So there are different ways to look at it. But if you are taking the 9 to 5 approach and you're not hustling, you definitely need something like that and maybe get a time, because you never know what's gonna happen. But all life, it's definitely works for those kind of people. But if you're a business grinder or whatever, once you make your millions, man, you can buy whatever insurance you want and you're golden.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
we have comments here. Life insurance is the first thing to go when people struggle, but life insurance is a necessity. Absolutely. Me and my wife, we were just talking about life insurance the other day. Um, and we were talking about the increments, right? And I said, well, we know we get the $1 million, somebody gonna die, right? So when
Eugene, I'm
I was
not
talking,
rude.
but I agree, it's a must because like with Eric, I had a situation with my brother passing. Everybody knows, but no insurance, and so someone has to pay for some of those things, right? And so
And it's expensive.
it can get very expensive, and so it was traumatic in a sense because no insurance. So it's like, okay, who's paying for this? Emptying out bank accounts, which is going on your credit, and so it was all type of stuff going on. So yes, absolutely. If it's available at your jobs or like you said, entrepreneur, yes, get life insurance, not only for you and your spouse, for the kids too,
Mhm.
because you want to make sure the family is covered in case something traumatic like that happens. Find ways. This is coming from Marcus. Find ways to buy property in the county, especially when it's county sales tax, meaning when people can't afford their houses and the county takes the houses. That's your opportunity to buy an additional housing for rental property. Yes, maybe you can.
Mhm.
Yes, and that's another investment we can talk about. Couple more comments. Wrong mindset. Get life insurance. Yes. Eric again, my man. Shout out to Eric J out in Indianapolis. Get a trust. Yes, estate plan. Tim
Yeah.
Rowe. Life insurance is a must. My
So
sister right
so
there. Go ahead. Go ahead,
so
Ken. Go ahead.
let's talk about some of the reasons why people don't get life insurance, and I'll tell you one of my life stories. Right. So people don't get life insurance because they think it costs a lot of money. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll say at least get them. If you can get 10x your current income, at least get enough to cover the fact case that if you leave and you're no longer with us, you don't leave a liability for everybody else.
It's called a It's called a burial policy.
A burial policy. See, you know your stuff. So you
The
get a burial
psychologist,
policy.
the,
What's
the
this?
insurance person,
She she
dang,
she she knows she knows
everything.
everything,
Right,
man.
I
That's what I'm
know,
saying.
right?
Girl power. So you at least get that, and those are like $10 a month. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
give you my life example, right? I got back from Nigeria after the airline business. It didn't fail. I just got cheated out of my shares and my ownership of the company, which is still the case going on. I get back and the house catches fire. Like I could not get a job because I lost my top secret clearance at the federal level, so I could not find jobs at the level that I was before I left Nigeria. So I get back and my house catches fire while we were sleeping.
Oh,
Literally, we lost everything. And you know what was funny? I was tempted to say, oh, maybe let the insurance last for a little bit. We didn't have to use the life insurance, but the house insurance. This goes back to the old insurance situation. If I had just let that little insurance lapse, then I've lost literally everything. Even though the insurance did not cover everything, because I adjusted it a little bit so that I can still make the payments, it still covered something enough to allow me to move on and start my life all over again. So you don't play with, you just never know what would happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
never let anything insurance lapse.
Thanks, Ken. Can you pull up Candy's comment real quick?
Yep. Give me 1 sec. I got you.
She says, get life insurance outside of your job. I do agree with that, guys. I have I have again self-employed, but I have two different or three different life insurance policies. I will say with life insurance with the job, it is like renting an apartment or renting a home. When your lease is up or when your time is up, the life insurance is gone or your health insurance. So always keep a policy outside of your job so you'll always have that.
And
Yep.
before we go into because we were talking about cryptocurrency and all that, but this is a good topic because it is about investments and stuff, and this is an investment in your household, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Invest in yourself first.
it's vital because I worked at the bank for a couple of years, and so it would be crazy because when the person would die, like then this can lead up into POAs and DOAs and all that stuff, power of attorney and all that. So I don't want to get too far down the line, but I would literally be sitting with a client, right? And because no one had any estate plans or anything in documents, right? And then it has to go to probate court and all that. They would be literally in my office fighting with one another over what's left in the account from the deceased person, whether it be mother, father, sister, brother, right? And so to alleviate all of that, Black people, please get some documents, get a will, get an estate, or if you have, if you don't have those, if you have a mother or father struggling with their health, a POA or something in documentation.
Everybody don't know what a POA is. It's power of attorney, people.
But that's for living, right? While they're living. I don't want to get too technical because it'll go on and on. But my main emphasis in this is saying if you have parents that have assets, please get a will, get some documentation. If their health is failing, because it would alleviate a lot of headache after they pass, because you will struggle you will spend more time fighting with the banks and in the court than you are actually obtaining the assets. You know what I'm saying? So trust me, I know all about this. I thank you for that conversation. But we have to move forward because press no time. So as it relates to the show, how much money should I start with when I'm dealing with Bitcoin?
Yeah, so I would say don't even start at all if you have a lot of debts because you're going to sell that baby at the wrong time. I'll give you a good example. When I was in college, I like to give
I
examples,
love your
man.
transparency. You're like so straightforward.
I'll give some examples, man. When I was in college, imagine investing in college. I started investing right after we graduated from high school. And if I was investing the right way and I wasn't a broke college student, I should be super rich right now. So I think I used some of my tax return to buy some Amazon stocks back then. Amazon was like $55, and I think I got some $5,000 rebate from like one of my college loans, whatever. You know how you over ask for what you need for your FAFSA so that you can have some extra money to buy books and spend money. We all did it. So I got some extra money and I bought Amazon. Guess what? I sold my Amazon at a loss. I think for like $53 or $50. See what the price of Amazon is today.
Yeah, they just did a split.
You know?
They did a split a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
They did a split, but before the split, that thing was 2,500, 2,700. That's 2,700 compared to the 50 cent, $50 that I sold that baby for. Because I was broke and I needed the money. So if you're broke, I would say start small. At least don't spend the money you need. At least have some money in your reserves. Make sure you have your reserve money somewhere. So yeah, what does it cost to get started investing in Bitcoin or investing in cryptocurrencies if that's what you want to do, or investing in the stock market, or even your retirement account or your life insurance? Is number one, let's sit down, let's go through your budget. We talked about that a couple of shows ago, right? You got to know what's coming in and what's going out. And there's, that buying Starbucks out there, man. You can do without Starbucks. You know that. You just you can't pull numbers with Starbucks no more. Everybody drinks Starbucks now. I used to buy suits and buy nice clothes back in the day. I stopped buying that after the fire. You know why? When the appraiser person was going through the house, I'm like, I literally just bought this nice, fine, shining suit from Zara, man. She was like, oh yeah, that's just this worth like $12. I'm like, don't mess with me, man. I just spent like
Disrespectful.
$250 for that nice jacket. Don't tell. Literally 80% depreciation once that shirt walks out of the store.
Yes.
So I stopped trying to look too nice and start thinking more of what I have in my investment and my bank than what I have on me. Even though you still gotta look nice for the people, for the
And,
ladies.
see, and
Uh,
but I'm glad you said that because I have a bunch of family members who the whole shoe thing. Yes, it's great, right? And I told one of my cousins one time he has like 10 pairs of Jordans. So that's like backing out when we was in school, it's like 100. They like 250, $300 right now, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I said, bro, add up all those pairs of Jordans. That money you just spent on all those Jordans, right? You could have took that same money and bought stock in Jordan or Nike,
In Nike, yeah, and Nike is
right?
doing well too.
And
Nike's a good stock to
that's
hold.
what like, and I get it, right? Where they're young, and so it's having that mindset of think bigger. Yes, it's great to have Jordans and look cool, right? But you're making them money and you're not making yourself any money, right? If you invest in the actual stock because I had a conversation with one of the brothers, this was a couple years ago, and he wanted to do stocks and he was investing in stocks. And so I said, if you look at anything in your house, that's a brand name. Usually if they have brand names, they have stocks, right? You got to look at the trends and all that stuff, right? Not to get too technical, but I just said, look at that. And so he was looking at now this is right around when COVID happened and all that. I was talking about Johnson & Johnson because some of the things that will be in demand, right? Like toiletries and what is it? Napkins
That was a
and
beer company that
cleansers
popped
and
like
Lifestyle
crazy
spray,
too.
hand
all that
sanitizer.
stuff, right? That would
Yeah.
be a great thing to invest in, right? To buy stock in because they're going to be a demand, right? But then when if you pay attention to the trends, right? You buy low, sell, buy low, sell high, right? So when you start seeing it plummet, get out of there. And so he made some, he was investing. I was talking about construction, Caterpillar, right? Some of those things, right? Because you know, at some point, infrastructure and construction is going to get back to going up again, right? And so it was, just saying, hey, think about this. And so he made some nice change and got out. But it's going back to what you were saying about brand, making sure you understand, like everything has a brand. You can invest in that stock, right? And like with Blockbuster and Redbox, right? Same thing there. Blockbuster went out of style because they didn't keep up with the times. Redbox just got away from going in. They got away from having an actual store. You go to a Redbox at the grocery store now and just boom, boom, and make your transaction, right? At the time when Redbox started, we were in college. I'm like, this is stupid, right? Because I want to go to Blockbuster. I want to go get a VHS video and get a DVD and buy some snacks and all that. But then they didn't keep up with the times, and see now you don't see Blockbuster video anymore. And
Yeah,
so
and
if I would have been
Redbox is about
smart
to go
enough
whoop
to
soon.
invest back then, I'd have been rich. So it goes wrong what you were saying, but go ahead.
Yeah, so once you have that home basis, you notice how it all goes back to getting home base right. Once your home base is right, you can do the other stuff. Once you've done all those things and you've gotten your basis settled, then you can invest, right? And all it takes is you can buy fractional of anything. You can, when it comes to buying maybe stocks, I would say maybe go to public where you don't feel like you need to go and start buying options. Because if you're an entry level investor, which I was, and I've lost a lot of money in that space, don't do options. Just own the actual company. When it comes to crypto, I would say focus more on Bitcoin because it's actually the one solving the problem. Everybody's just a copycat. You can do the other ones to trade and make money, but when you want to focus on solving generational wealth and having a store of value, then you focus on Bitcoin and you can buy fractional shares of that. Now, I'm not telling you to go buy Bitcoin tomorrow. It's not financial advice because technical analysis are not looking good for Bitcoin right now. It's going down because there's just so much drama going on in the market space. But the technology is for real. the banking system as we know it is most likely going to change. The face of money is going to change. We all know, when was the last time you used cash to pay for something? We either use our credit cards. Funny
Yeah.
thing is that those credit cards are going away. We're about to start using our phones and wallets to transfer transactions left and right. So all of that is going to change pretty soon. Not too soon, but in the coming years. And you can see the big banks are trying to throw their money at it. So yeah, $10 a day, maybe the cost of your coffee, maybe the cost of, if you're not driving into work anymore, the same money you were using to pay gas instead of buying clothes and all this other stuff, you can just throw that towards, other investment opportunities.
Okay. Before we get to this is the next question. How much time should I spend on it for the CO can return? Before I get to that question, though, got some comments here. Tim Rowe with the POA. Yes, power of attorney. Uh, Says if it was through your job, make sure it's a portable life policy. I'm pretty sure Candace knows what that is, right? I don't know nothing about that. Yes, indeed, correct. Miss Candace, shout out to
I'm
her.
sorry, to follow up, portable just means that if you can take it outside of the job with you, it transfers.
See, bam, there you go.
Yeah,
Buy
they
us a-
sometimes offer it to you for like a month after your job is over to transfer it. It's for some reason it's like more expensive when you
That's
leave
like
the
those
job.
Cobra policies because it's
Yeah,
outside of the
Cobra.
group.
Yeah,
You get a when you're
yeah.
within a company, you get a group rate, but once you leave outside of the group, the cost goes up because it's individual.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Good info, y'all, because I have none of, I don't know none about no insurance, right? See, Charles Siobhan, what's up? She said she just got off. She's late, but that's cool. Check in. Thanks for checking in. You have to change your mindset. The future 5 common money personalities are investors, savers, big spenders, debtors, and shoppers. Debtors and shoppers may tend to spend more money than is advised. Yes, that is a great
But
thing.
you know what's so funny about that? Why is it that we black folks have to be the debtors and the shoppers? They call us the consumers. I don't want to be no consumer. Like, why do we have to be the consumer? Why we always consuming shit? Excuse my French.
I heard it was a couple weeks ago. They were talking about I think I don't I was watching like a show where it's informational and they were basically talking about that people who if you watch certain celebrities, no matter what color they are, they start to scale back on their designer brands. Like they'll have on like a shirt and some jeans and shorts or tennis shoes, and you really won't know what they're wearing. They said the most people who spend the most amount of money is the people typically that can't afford some of those brands. Right now, I think BMW and Mercedes are purchased more by African Americans than any other culture because it's a status symbol. And the status symbol says that I really can't if I they said if you can't buy it twice, then you can't afford it. So, people laugh all the time because guys, I'm just gonna put it out there. I have bought my car brand new in like 2012, guys. It's been paid off for like 6 or 7 years. I haven't bought another one. So everybody's like, why haven't you purchased a new vehicle? I'm like, why? Why am I bragging on that? Like, it's not that I can't go get one because I have great credit, but my parents always say you can have good credit, but sometimes you might just want to cash and carry. And so not that I can't go out and purchase a new vehicle, but there's some other things that I've been trying to accomplish, like starting my own businesses, having 7 streams of income, and so I look back and like a lot of my friends are doing really good. They're successful. And a lot of them have nice cars, they have nice homes and things like that. And so we all celebrate each other. But at the end of the day, when I do go purchase a new car, I'll get one, but it's in my own time. I don't have to go buy a car to try to impress someone else because I know who I am and I know what I have up here. And so those are the things that are important for me. So again, cars and things like that, they're a status symbol. It's kind of like, look at me and look at what I have. And if you can afford it, great, go and get it. But don't frown on someone else because you feel like they can't afford what you have. Because in the end, just like you said, you don't even buy a lot of clothes anymore because it's really not of value. As soon as you walk out of the store, as soon as you drive off the lot with the car, it depreciates.
Yes,
That makes sense.
yes. Go ahead.
Can I add a good example for that car situation? By the
Go
way,
ahead.
congrats on paying off the car and not buying another car. Like you, I am the same way. I'm not buying another car. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm trying to save up some money to fix the car that I've got now. And that car is like 2006. I bought that car in 2006. It's still paid off, and I'm not buying another car until maybe I buy my Tesla. And that's when this business comes up. Good example, right? $600, right? The payment on the car was like $450, but I was like, I gotta pick this car up, so I was paying $600 every month. $600 at the time I was at GW, right? my classmates were buying these houses in Southeast DC, Southwest DC for like 40K, 39K, 32K. I
Mm-hmm.
could have easily bought like 3 properties and be able to afford those properties because I had like 2 jobs. I was going to school, I was working at the State Department. I have enough money, but I went and bought a nice car trying to look good because, hey, I went to school where there's a bunch of rich Indians and rich, people from the Middle East, flashing with their Maseratis and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, I gotta drive something nice too, trying to be like, the
Yeah,
Jonesies.
yeah,
Got myself in debt. Gotta get myself out of the debt. But these people still had extra money to go buy properties in DC. Those properties that they bought for 30, 40K now are like 700, 900K.
mm-hmm.
So the $600 I was using to flash could have built me more
Yes,
wealth if I
yes.
wasn't trying to
Trying to
like
flex. You from
like
here? We
flexes,
like to
man.
flex, right?
You gotta
And
flex,
all,
man.
all of the cars that I've had since I've, graduated high school, I pay all my cars off. I never, take one car and I don't know why people do that. No judgment. Like, they will purchase a car, don't pay it off, but then they'll go trade it in and be upside down in their car payments. I've never done that. I've always paid off every car that I've had
Mhm.
before I thought about purchasing another car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have personal stories about that too. I just bought a new vehicle, but it was through necessity because I got 2 little ones. Through COVID, me and my wife were getting in, right?
You
So
know, it's funny. I need a new car too, but
right,
I keep saying I'm gonna
but
drive until the
um,
wheels fall off of it.
but that's the thing because that was my mindset because the car that I had, I wasn't even using it, and so I sold it to my cousin, and I had that money coming in. It was cool not having a car payment, and so when I worked, and this goes with that comment, when I worked at the bank, you know, it's different because you're working with different demographics all the time, right? And so when I would deal with our Caucasian, clients, and you could, when you type in their info, their stuff pop up on the screen, you can see everything in their portfolio. And I'll be like, well, since Mr. Such and Such, why don't you have a credit card with us? He'd be like, he pretty much cussed me out. I don't want no effing credit card. I don't want to owe nobody nothing. And me being young, I'm like, you have everything here. But the reason is that you don't want to owe nobody anything when you're getting older. And like you said, why would I'm gonna pay to get this car fixed? Why would I keep, why do I want to keep paying someone for a car when I have one sitting right here? I may put what 8,000 more in it for it to run 100 more thousand miles versus buying a new car where I'm probably loaning out to the bank 40,000 plus 15,000 in interest, payments, right? And then I'm actually paying 55,000 for the, you know what I'm saying? So it just doesn't add up. So I absolutely agree with what you just said. So go ahead.
Yeah, there's the science of using debt to make more wealth. You just don't
Mm-hmm.
want to use the debt to buy liabilities. And when you do use it to buy liabilities, your credit has to be super good so that the liability is like almost 0.1% or less. So you're not even caring about that. But when you use your debt to buy real estate, but you don't over leverage, that is what you call building wealth. Building
Yes.
wealth. Tim Rowe put something up earlier about buying Bitcoin, and this was a good time to buy Bitcoin.
Oh, go ahead, go
I
ahead,
would
go
say
ahead, go
yes.
ahead.
I would say yes. This is a good time to buy Bitcoin, not financial advice. Hey, the feds make me. It's a requirement. I gotta say that now every time I talk. Not financial advice. But I am buying Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, I get paid tomorrow. So once that paycheck lands, man, I'm running to buy some Bitcoin. I buy my Bitcoin on a regular, man, non stop.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Thanks,
Um,
yeah.
and so I see we're gonna run over, so whatever, right?
Tanisha had a good one. Hi, Tanisha.
Hey,
She was
Tanisha,
actually
give me one
good.
second. So, I seen a comment that she made, and I want to comment on this too. So she made, what was it? Where is it? Right here. People talk about it for rocking fake bags. Man, listen. So I have made a conscious decision. I don't wear Jordans no more. I don't wear anything that's like mainstream, right? Because again, think about it. A lot of our people wears this stuff. They don't invest nothing in our people, right? They don't make any investments in our people. They sell the merchandise to us, but they don't make any investments in our people, right? And so what I've done, I made it, and you know this, Candace. I specifically shop with local vendors or vendors that are back home merchandise. like with this, like this is our own, and I'm gonna talk about this later in our pod. But like I make a conscious effort in doing that because we make the people that's rich, they don't even look like us. You know what I'm saying? And the people, and like if I gotta buy 10 shirts for somebody back home, that's $20 a piece. That's $200. I make them $200. Let's say if they do become famous or whatnot, I had a part in that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I know that person. I know, like, if I wanted to build credit, that another conversation another day. But I make a conscious effort to buy my clothes from people that I know. That because I did that years ago, and I got clothes lined up all the way up, Juneteenth shirts and African American College Elite shirt, all this stuff like from our people. And so it's specifically because these merchants that we do buy from that are multi-million, like Gucci, they don't care about us. What was that? T.I. they had an incident where it was somebody famous that was walking in the store that they couldn't even get service because they was a famous entertainer, and they like stopped by. I'm like, you should have been doing that. Why don't you rock your own merch? You're a walking billboard. Like I told you the other day, you're a walking billboard. Rock your own stuff.
Yeah, we had my sister's husband fraternity threw an all white party. Q's did at the beach. It was actually the 4th of July weekend, but I just posted the pictures the other day, and I was like, you know what? I don't really want to buy anything. And my sister was like, well, let's just get online, And I was like, I'm my own brand. I'll wear my own stuff.
Yeah.
We are all brands. Even if I didn't have the podcast, our last name is a brand. So
Yes.
although I have some nice pieces and some nice things, I don't try to go out my way to put on designer, because even without designer, and Tanisha, I definitely agree with you. You never that's one thing that our people have bad. We judge, we criticize, and we talk about each other. When really, this shirt, once I take this shirt off and I wash it a couple times, it's going to go in the trash. And so the value comes in character, who you are as a person, and what you have up here. The problem that some of our Black people have is they think because they have money that it makes them good people. It does not make you a good person because you have money. Character and integrity makes you a good person. So, Tanisha, if you want to carry fake bags, honey, you carry the fake bags if you want to. Don't care about what no one else has said. The goal is to make sure that you and your family are continuing to grow and you're leaving behind generational wealth. Oftentimes, I see parents looking so good, but when I worked at a school, the parents look great, but the kids were suffering. That's what made me want to become a therapist. Okay, so we have parents who look good with their clothes on, but they're not teaching their kids any substance. You know what I mean? So,
and to speak on brands, he has his Stack brand on. So shout out to Kid with his Stack brand. Yeah, I see you with the 2
I'll
cases.
send you guys some if you want some. For free too. You know what I'm saying? But to add to what everybody's talking about. By the way, compliment on the nice jewelry that you have on. I know you're representing another fellow or true brother of ours with the jewelry that you got on. Looking good on you, by the way. Who sells the nice jewelry that you got on?
so I have these pieces. This was my eye candy, but since you brought it up, these pieces that I have on, Jacinta Stewart, which is a high school classmate of ours, and she sells jewelry for paparazzi. So eye candy for today.
There you go. So that's part of what we're talking about, building ourselves as well, right? Along the way. We'll talk about Gucci, Versace. These are all family names. They've built generational wealth.
Talk about
multiple generations to come. And we literally like what 1960 what when did we finally get our rights to vote in America, like Black people?
64.
64, right?
I think it was 64. Yes.
And literally, we can still count back. We have people that were alive during slavery, that we still have some remnants of that. We're literally just getting our life back together.
Yeah.
Those in Africa, I came from Nigeria. Those in Africa just got their independence in the 1960s. So there's a lot of comeback that we got to do. We don't need to be on I know the psychological aspect that, no, now I can afford to do it, so now it's time for me to show off. And then it's always that usual potential of, oh, Michael Jordan is better than Reggie Miller. No, let's learn to work together. There's no competition here. If we build ourselves up, we have the potential to eventually upbuild generational wealth to the point that, the Wilsons and everybody now becomes a brand of themselves, and there's enough to go around. And that's the mindset that you guys are trying to preach, that we fully support, and which we believe that Bitcoin is one of those solutions that allow us to get to that next phase. It's a system out of the current system that is oppressing us, and that system is not centrally controlled, which then gives you the freedom to build your wealth. Just between 20 March 2020 and now, even though it's crashing now, it's still 400% higher than what it was 2 years ago. So the crash right now, we know it's temporary, but over time, it can allow you to build wealth. Just investing in general in the right companies is building wealth. We need to get out of that spending mentality, just me mentality, me show off mentality, and build one another, which is what you guys are doing, and I love
Yeah,
it.
so we
Thank
appreciate it.
you
And what
so
was cool
much.
about Ken when we first day one when we first started this, I got a message from him. He was the first person. Hey, I love what you guys are trying to do. I want to be a part of it. So we really thank you for being a part of this. But I love the conversation that we have, but we want to still keep it on crypto, right? Because people are looking and asking questions. So number 5, one of the questions I had was, what are the do's and don'ts in, well, I would say Bitcoin, but you said stop saying crypto, right? So Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, there's Bitcoin and there's cryptocurrencies. So the do's and don'ts of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is that try not to fall for all the cryptocurrencies because they are companies that are trying to do what Bitcoin is already doing. That's number one. So just number one, just learn to focus on Bitcoin. Now, don't get me wrong. Cryptocurrencies are a form of other form of blockchains. You have NFTs, you have DeFi, you have GameFi, and NFTs. Should I jump into NFTs now, or because I know you have a question about that later on? Okay, I won't jump into it now. Let me
Okay,
just
go ahead, go ahead.
explain the do's and don'ts. So be careful. The fact that someone is selling you an NFT does not mean that that NFT is valuable. It, if I took a picture of myself now and I said I want to sell it for $1 million and you bought it for $1 million, good luck to you. It just made me richer. But the value of the picture is not really $1 million. So be careful not to fall for those. Oh, make
When you
money.
say NFT, can you elaborate so people know what that is?
So Murray was going to ask that question later, so I didn't want to jump too deep
Go
into
ahead.
it.
Okay,
So let
Go
me
it's
ahead. Go
let
ahead.
me
fine.
go ahead and answer. Let me go ahead and answer it now, since you brought it up. So NFT is a digital version of. So let's say you're an artist. I don't want to give you a technical explanation because people won't understand it. So I'll use an example to explain it. So let's say you're an artist. You make music, and you release that music on the internet. Back in the day, man, we just bought a copy of that CD. Or back in the cassette day, we make a copy of the cassette, and boom, lots of copy of it is out there. And it just allows you to make unique versions of it, so that you can say you're releasing 20 versions of your shirt. Although it's in the digital space, right? You can have a NFT code that comes with it, where you can release the real version of your T-shirt, have a digital version of it, and nobody can copy it. As long as they scan it, you know that that's the real version. So all those fake Jordans that are out there, all the fake, Fubu's, Fubu's fake anyway from day one. Excuse my French.
Oh man. Hey, I loved FUBU when we were in school.
Man.
Oh my goodness, I said it. I said it. All right. Anyway, it allows you to have a unique version of anything. But there are different type of NFTs as well. So what could happen now is that you can release music and have a unique version of that NFT for that music, so that people cannot copy code that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be an healthy space for creators in the future, where you can create a piece of art in the digital space, and maybe even have a real version. You can use NFT for real estate too in the future, where you have a digital version of it, and it secures that properties. Like it cannot be broke. It cannot be broken. You can't steal it, and it secures that for you. So it stores that value. That's what the NFTs do.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
non fungible tokens. But people focus on the non fungible tokens too much, on the technical definition too much. But it's very scalable into other markets.
Okay.
You can use it for arts, real estate, music, even oil and gas. People are
Okay.
finding ways to implement that into that space. So that's what NFTs do.
Okay.
But back to the original questions of the do's and don'ts. Do not jump on in everything. At least your number one focus, not financial advice, should be Bitcoin. The rest of them are businesses trying to use blockchains to solve some of the problems that we have today. So a good example would be the supply chain issues. And what blockchains do is that they allow us to decentralize. So right now, let me give you a good example. We're on Facebook. Everything that we do on Facebook belongs to Facebook, right? They get to monetize it. It's centrally controlled by Facebook on Facebook servers, right? What the other some of the new blockchains are trying to do is decentralize that, so that
Mm.
your data is your data, is decentralized. You then give it to Facebook to use it, and you can carry that data across multiple platforms. So
Mm.
that's how you fix that space in the social media space, so that Facebook cannot wake up one day and decide to block me. It's decentralized. I'm releasing it out to the world. Facebook is not making money off of me, off of my data. It's my data. I give it to Facebook when I want to give it to Facebook.
Okay.
So that's that. You can fix medical issues with that as well, in a way of decentralizing, so that all these this research labs can say, okay, this is my private asset, this is my private asset, but we can still work on the same, maybe fixing cancer at the same time, without having to say, oh, you don't have access to my server, you should not have access to my server. So you can release data based on the agreements that you have. That's why you can start jumping into smart contracts. So some of the work that people do can fully be automated. And then the next question would be, do you tax smart contracts? Because an AI or some kind of algorithm is solving the problem, like motor vehicle, for example. You can fully put that into the blockchain, into crypto, and don't even have a fucking, excuse my French. Why am I cussing today? Maybe I'm just pissed. Uh, I know why. It's the NBA. They piss me off. Um, so that you don't have to go sit down there for 2 hours, trying to get your tag right. You can smart contract that through cryptocurrencies and get that done and just get it mailed to your house right away. So those are some of these things that these technologies are solving. It's like the next age of the internet. It's like the next phase of the internet,
Mm.
basically.
Okay.
So
Um.
just be careful. There's a lot of people promising that they will do something. You want to look at the ones that have actually done something and are going to do it, or
And
have the good investment behind them.
see, that was going to be the next question because you answered well. This one was the apps or different software you can use to start training. You talked about that already, and so uh, that was going to be the next question. Are there any scammers out there? Like anything needs
That's a
to be?
lot.
Yes. Can you talk about
That's a
that?
lot. You should assume that everybody is a scammer. You should even assume that I'm a scammer. Just make it straight. Like, what the hell is Ken talking about as a scammer? No, 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 no. It's the reality. So
Just keep you on your toes,
Yeah.
basically.
exactly. Ask me the questions. I want to see the questions so that I should, like, oh, I wasn't thinking about that. I should know that.
Mhm.
This is the reason why. The new technology. Just remember back in the day, actually, when we were in high school, because I know we're that old now.
Yeah.
The internet was just
Oh,
becoming a
don't call
thing.
me old.
I mean, come on, it's okay. I mean, it's pretty sexy and old. She ain't nothing wrong with being sexy and old. Um,
Hey, it's this face don't
that's
crack.
Right.
exactly. You don't even look like it too. So that's what are we talking about? You look like you are early you are in your early 30s. That is my old African uncle trying to pick up some young chick.
Terrible.
You look like
It's
you
so
are in
funny.
your um that said though, yeah. So yeah, you should assume that everything is a scam until you've verified and asked questions and done your research. Always do your research, even when you're investing in the stock market. There's a lot of, there's the OTC market out there where there are people that just steal your money. Those are the small companies that get on the exchanges and act like they're companies, but they will get you to invest in them and disappear. You have the same thing in the crypto space as well, where they come with these ICOs. Business doesn't really exist. They create this nice website. They're selling NFTs. They promise you X, Y, and Z. Next thing you know, you put your money in it and poof, they're gone. So yeah, there are a lot of scammers in the space. Definitely ask your questions. You can definitely come to us, have us research whatever it is that you're looking at. If you have questions, we can research them for you. If you're looking to get into the space and you don't know what to do, it's always good to have a community of investors like us that could guide you in the right way, and tell you what's good and what's not bad. Because that's how I've learned as well. I've gotten myself around other experts in the space, and I've built the knowledge over time as well. So that's always very helpful. Yes, there are a lot of scammers. There's people just trying to take your money, man. If you don't have a plan for your money, somebody else got better plans for your money.
And see, that's that, but that because again, we see a lot of stuff on social media. We see a lot of people, who push a lot of different. Well, I wouldn't say just people. Just I see a lot of stuff with crypto, right? With this Bitcoin, the people with those unique symbols
Mm-hmm.
under their name, their faces and stuff, and they like the adding you and all that, and they, you know. Or the other people that'll say, "Hey, if you send me some money, I'll send you 10 grand." Stuff, just crazy stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
so,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure that we are making competent, sensible, common sense decisions when we're talking about this. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If anybody tells you, give me $1,000, I'll turn to $10,000 next week, say no. There's no such thing called fast money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're really, really thinking about it, ask somebody else. Come to Stack, ask us about it. We'll take a look at it for you. I mean, there's been one coin after another that just promised X, Y, and Z and just disappeared tomorrow. And there are even the good companies that are still getting, like, there's this war in the crypto space going on right now where old money is fighting against this new form of money. And they're literally strategically, systematically breaking it down. They attacked the stable coin, which was Terra Lunar. Now they're attacking the exchanges and the lenders, voyagers, because people were over leveraged because they thought they could become trillionaires tomorrow, and they were betting money on the markets. So
Mm.
there's that again, and there are further attacks going on right now in the crypto space. So it's not that the technology is not real. It's just that it's not going to be an easy transition into a new state. And you understand, man, somebody's messing with your tough. We all grew up in Gary. You know what you're doing in my tough, man? That's my space. Get the hell out. But, Bitcoin and some cryptocurrencies will survive.
We got a question from Miss
Oh, I
Tanisha,
love that
Miss
question.
Love, well, formerly Miss Love. We call her married name Miss Johnson. Congrats again. Just what the
Do
question
I
is,
know
what are
her?
your thoughts on metaverse? What is
Was
metaverse?
Tanisha, was Tanisha a word?
Yes,
Listen
that's
what the
her
word.
name is Tanisha Love. See, you see her now. You gotta look at there. Look at the picture. Yep, look at the picture like you did.
Okay, okay.
And thanks, Tanisha. I read your comment. She said I haven't aged one day, Ken.
There you go. There you go. She has an age. We know that. What are you talking about?
But yeah, what are your comments on that? What are your thoughts on that metaverse? What is metaverse, and then what to get into that conversation right there.
Man, it could be a potential for a new economy. Let me explain why. When I was in
Okay.
grad school, I literally did like 2 semesters on. It wasn't called metaverse then. It was just the future of digital economies, and it was in Second Life. Second Life was the application then. And if you don't have a super powerful computer with 60 plus what's it called? Anyway, long story short, your computer had to be super strong to be able to run Second Life back then, and I was in grad school. So Second Life was this digital space where you can create NFTs. They call them NFTs now, but you can create T-shirts, build cars, build an office, and sell products and services. You can have meetings online, so you become an avatar, right? And then you go drive through the cities, walk through the cities, have meetings with other business partners, buy assets online, but those assets stay online, right? They don't come out to the digital world. But people were working at the time to transition them into real life as well. But the issue with Second Life at the time was that you could wake up tomorrow and you come to Second Life and somebody have robbed your house and stolen all your stuff, right? Yeah, it's
Really?
people still stuff in real life. There's still stuff in the digital space as well. And then there was this whole issue that was building up as well. People, I don't know why, but people always find ways to either start dealing drugs, sex trafficking and all that stuff through the
Yeah.
platform. So that started becoming a problem too. I was like, I'm not sure if I want to be here. But you start seeing that in Second Life. So Metaverse is like the new age of that as well, where you can literally all this work from home situation is like a type of metaverse, but you can actually be in a meeting almost like you're almost there in
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
where you're working from home and you're falling asleep at your desk. If you're in the metaverse, if you're falling asleep at your desk, they will know. So in a way, it could be a way to have full control of your employees to know if they are really working or not working, right? So it could also bring a new age to education. It could bring a new age to psychology where you can meet with your clients almost physically and feel their expression because you can see them, because you can feel their facial expression. You can do labs and surgery with people through the internet without being there physically. That's what the metaverse. It's like a digital economy that could be coming, and everything is done. It breaks the barrier of countries. So I could be in Cambodia working for a company in the US, getting paid US, even though I'm in Cambodia. That's what the metaverse does. So it brings us together, and that start bringing up more questions. That this one world economy that they're talking about, could the metaverse bring it to reality? And do I start losing my rights because now the government controls everything through the metaverse? So it's a good and the bad, but it's a great opportunity. I personally want to invest in the metaverse. I don't invest in NFTs for the metaverse. I invest in companies creating the infrastructure. You could be buying what's the name of this company that creates the chips?
Ranger.
AMD,
Okay.
AMD, Nvidia. You can be investing in those companies directly if you want to. I'm not a big fan of Facebook, but maybe Facebook is putting a lot of money into the metaverse. Maybe if you're interested, Microsoft is putting a lot of money into the metaverse. Again, this is part of what I'm talking about. That when you talk about cryptocurrencies, they're still centrally controlled by companies. So you can, and then in the crypto space, you can invest in maybe Solana, but I don't like Solana. It's again centralized. There are other companies out there, Sand, Mana, uh, you know, that are out there trying to create the infrastructure that allow people to create that space. So Metaverse can do its thing. You see, someone said they have an apartment in the Metaverse, and then they can rent it out where somebody can go and stay there in the Metaverse. It's like a real world in different. Like literally, imagine. It's weird because I had to exit myself out of that thing. You could live in the metaverse out of reality, but do those of us on this call know better than that? Especially us black people, we still got some catching up to do.
Yeah.
Don't take me into this space where I ain't got nothing. I don't physically own anything, and you're telling me that I'm living a good life because you can live that lifestyle on the metaverse, but then you wake up and you turn around and you're like, oh man, I'm still in the hood.
Right.
You know?
So perception of reality. Some people get stuck in there. So you have to be careful with
She has
that.
an apartment in the metaverse, which is interesting. I'm like, man, yeah, I don't want to be in the hood in the metaverse. I was already in the hood for real, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to live good, so that's cool. And it, like some of these questions you kind of answered right, and so what software are you? So what software are you using? Because you're obviously in the space. Like you said, I think you talked about it before, but go ahead. You want to expound on that?
Yeah, I would like to teach our folks how to make money in this space because that's our goal at Stack. How to create generational wealth through this space, how to invest in this space, how to provide services in this space. So we hope to be able to touch on that with Stack. We just, we're still a young startup, but that is what we're trying to go, and we're still trying to educate people as well. But some of the software that we're using are the same software that we use in the stock market, like TradingView, allows us to look at the charts, make some analysis so that we can buy at the right time. And of course, you gotta have your hard wallets because you gotta store your Bitcoin in the right place. And then some of the exchanges that allow you to trade, like KuCoin and Binance and all that good stuff. And then we mentioned Cash App and Strike earlier. That just allows you to buy in so that you can move it into your hard wallet.
Okay, and before so I have a comment on here, and she's asking, will there be a part two of this? So, great question. So this is the
No, no,
first
no,
of
no,
five.
not for Say Child. No, she's not getting a part two. She was late.
So because
Go back to
so this
Texas.
is why we wanted to do this, because some people have time to dive in, go hard, right? Some just want to learn about it, right? That's where I'm at. Want to learn. If I have time to dive in it, that'll be my choice. But it is we wanted to give this information out for free so that people can make the choices they can make. Because again, we have all the stuff. We still are in a pandemic. People are still catching COVID. Inflation, prices going sky high, gas prices high. So we understand the stress it puts on people's wallets and the kind of trauma it can cause, right? Because you want to stabilize your household, but you also want to make money. And so the reason for this is that we want to make sure that we are educating our people on in this space. And so we just want to get the information out there. So yes, Siobhan, this will be the first of 5. This is basically the introductory podcast to cryptocurrency because we didn't want to just dive right in, right, and be all over people's heads, right? And so that's why we call him Professor Ken. So I just wanted to make sure that if you have questions, please send them to him. He has his own Facebook page. Also, he has a YouTube channel. You can send them to us. We can, throw them right to him. We are invested in educating our people in this space. So, and like you were talking earlier about streams of income, this would be another stream of income if you so choose to, go down that path. And so, absolutely, we're not going to be teaching you guys. Ken is going to be teaching you guys, right? Because he's the expert. And so, I just want to put that out there.
So there's
Go ahead.
a difference between expert and guru, right? I'm not a guru, right? You know how they have all those fake gurus on YouTube? Oh yeah, if you sign up for me, I'll do this, I'll do that, ha ha ha. Nah, man. We just bring it down to the normal, You learn. I might learn something from you, but from my years of experience, I can show you the way, the truth and the light,
The
and then
truth
you'll
and
be
light.
free.
So we talked about the software, and then and this just out, just throwing questions out there. When should
Yeah.
a person get out of the market? Obviously, it's when you seeing it trending and you like, okay, stuff dropped, let me jump out. But go ahead, I know you are the expert. Go ahead, talk about that.
So, so. I did drop out of Bitcoin once because I was really mad. There was this Bitcoin futures ETF that was released last year, October. So I sold around 59, 60K. So I made my money and I exited Bitcoin. And then I'm currently rebuilding. So my it's a balance that you have to make. Bitcoin solves all our problem with the monetary system. The fact that we are creating value, but the value is being shrinked and taken away from us, which is why you have Bitcoin. But you don't want to sell all your Bitcoin. At the same time, you don't want to not make money out of Bitcoin or all the other cryptocurrencies out there. So the Bitcoins that I'm currently building right now, would I sell if Bitcoin goes to 100K? Maybe, because the goal is, again, generational wealth. You want to transfer that wealth into some physical assets, even though we know that the current system taxes those assets, or even though we know that the current system might depreciate or depreciate the value of those assets. But we know that if we invest in real estate over time, it's build wealth. Problem is that it could be seized by the government, right? But you don't put all your wealth into one basket, you diversify. So you still need to have real estate, even though there's the risk involved in that as well. You still need to have stocks, even though there's a risk involved in that as well. So when should you get out of Bitcoin? It's really up to you and your life situation, right? You want to be part of a system that is the future. Almost like, how we were in school and AOL and the internet was becoming a big thing, but because of our environment was not into, oh, let me go get with Amari, let's go build an app so that we can be the next pets.com or the next thing. We didn't know that. People made a lot of money off the upcoming of the internet in the 90s. We were just in school playing video games, Sega Genesis, all the good stuff we were doing back in the good old days,
Yeah.
We were just enjoying the product.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do now this time around is we don't want to enjoy the product. We want to add value or build value with the product and be part of the value curation and not the consumer part. And that's what we are trying to do with Stack and what you guys are trying to do as well. Is that let's get us to the other side where we can build wealth, not just be the consumer of the wealth.
Yes.
So yeah. So when you say when do you exit out of Bitcoin, you gotta make that internal decision to say I'm going to use it for X, Y, and Z to build wealth, not to just go announce that blinging on the Benzes and the Lambos, which some people do. I'm not faulting you. I'll probably get a Lambo too. It depends on how much money I make. But that was a joke. I wasn't serious about that. But really though, the goal is to build wealth. So yeah, you make that personal decision within yourself that I'm gonna keep some, no matter if it goes up and down. But then when it goes up enough, of course I need to exit. It's an investment. It's also a revolutionary product. Let me take some of that investment money and better my family, better my next generations.
So my question, I got a question for you, and I just thought about it. So for because this is like I said, this is the beginner space, right?
Yeah.
Um, what so far since you've been in this space, how much have you lost, and how much have you made in one day?
I recently lost like $2,000 in the UST Terra Luna situation. So I put some money on the side to buy some Bitcoin when the market goes down. I knew it was going to go down because the technical analysis was showing us that it was going to go down. So I was literally making like what, $10, $15 every week from staking some of my coins. So there's this staking farms where you can take your crypto or your Bitcoin and either loan them out or stake them. So I went to put my money in some of this stuff, and when they started the attack on Bitcoin, I lost my UST. Um, I mean, I've invested $7,000 plus on Cardano, and it's now only worth like $2,000. So all the money is currently down. I've not lost it. The value of it is down. Is Cardano a great project? Yes. Should I be investing in Cardano? Yes and no, because I know Bitcoin is the answer. How much money have I invested in Bitcoin? Just as much, because I'm diversifying my investment, because I believe the technologies. I also believe that Bitcoin is more supreme. But in a day in crypto, I don't lose money in crypto in a day. You see that I buy something and it goes down, and I just hold on to it. But when I trade it, I can literally make like $200, $400 a day trading crypto. That's crypto. That's the other altcoin because I don't give a care about them really. They just alt or shit coins. So I'm just using them to make money. So if it goes up, I think we were talking the other weekend, and the coin that we were looking at went up like 47%. Literally, like in the few minutes
Wow,
that we were sitting down. So that
wow.
was a quick 47% that I made. So if I put $1,000 in that, that's 47% of $1,000. That's
Woo.
$470. I've made boom right there.
Yeah.
So you can make money trading crypto, and if you lose money, you can hold on to it and wait for it to come back up. Or the best practice is set your stop losses, get the heck out, and try again. So yeah, you could do that. You could. Some people make a living out of that. Now, my concern is this: I'm actually trying to do an interview with a friend of mine, which is the psychological aspect of trading. Is it best for you to stress yourself and not be able to sleep because you're trying to trade, or just sit down, buy one thing, and just chill and wait for it to go up?
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's up to you. If you're trying to make an income out of this or residual income out of this, how much time do you have for this? It's gonna be stressful. It's a matter of fact. But are you willing to take on that stress to make some quick money so that you can spend? Or do you just want to relax and just buy low and wait for it to go up? And when it goes up, you make your money, you sell.
No, that makes sense. You
Yeah,
have
Amaru, how many more questions do we have?
that was it. That was it. Because he
Okay.
answered all of them in the beginning. So that was sense. So we really thank you for your insight, your time, and your expertise. Because again, we want to make sure that we are just properly educating our community, the people that we know and we can see and touch and talk to all the time about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and everything in this space.
Hmm.
Because we see a lot of stuff out here. We see a lot of stuff out here, and
There's a
so
lot of stuff out there.
yes, and I'm one of those people like I gotta actually, like I told somebody this, and it's like, I see people charging people to teach them, and that's fine, but I've always been like this. If I can go to YouTube, learn it for free, or if I can go somewhere where like a platform like this and someone can talk directly, openly about it and answer any questions that I may have, I'm gonna go to that before I start, paying somebody to teach me something that I can learn for free. So I've always been that type of person. We think we got a question. Oh, great show. Okay, and then you got a fan here, Ken. Look, we need that shirt.
Yeah, yeah. Can you send us a shirt so we can wear it on the next show in 2 weeks?
Yes, and
I do
All
so
want
right.
to say to
go ahead. Go
both
ahead.
of you guys,
Go ahead.
I've had really solid men in my life, my uncles, my father, my grandparents and things like that. And I just want to say to you guys, because I always feel like men should be the head of their homes, the head of their communities, and people will follow your lead if they see that you're sharing your greatness. It's one thing to be knowledgeable about certain topics and things like that, but it's another thing to have that knowledge and share it and empower others. So I just really want to say thank you. I commend you guys for coming on the show, being a great part of the show and actually sharing your information, because, the saying for me is each one teach one. The more that you know, the more that you grow. And it's okay to, oftentimes people will show you the money. They'll let you see the money. They'll let you see the cars. They'll let you see the clothes, but they won't show you how they got those things. So it's really important to me to show and prove. And I'm very, very grateful.
Absolutely. And so I appreciate that. We appreciate you, Ken, for that, for this opportunity, man. But yes, you are awesome, brother. You are awesome.
Yeah, we need more of that. I literally love like when your first day was like, boom, that is what we should have been doing since high school, but we didn't get the opportunity because that was the environment that we're in. But we've been exposed to a lot of things ever since then, right? And we should be sharing that knowledge with one another and getting better at it, and not allowing this generational thing to just continue that cycle. We need to get out of it. And you guys
Yes.
are covering all the topics. You guys are talking about everything that we need to cover. Relationships, the family base. If you get that right, you can do all things. And once you start getting those right, you can talk about investing and building generational wealth after that.
Absolutely.
And so, too, after this podcast, we want you to please, I'll probably grab your info, throw it in the link so people can
Yep.
connect with you also, because again, we appreciate you, brother. We understand, like, you have a brand too, you have mouths to feed too, and so we don't get in the way of that. We are absolutely on par with sharing your information, making sure that people can connect with you, because the questions they may have, I'm not gonna know no answers to. I'm gonna be honest with you. So he has a YouTube channel, he has a Facebook page also, and so it's on the page. We tagged him in, and so I'm pretty sure he's open to anything that you may have questions about. Please reach out to him. Go ahead,
Thank you.
Dennis.
What's our word of the day?
So we want to, and you can, you obviously stand for this. So our word of the day
Yeah,
is,
don't try to get off, Ken.
yeah. So because he just in the background. I hope he do a little thing with his glasses. Word of the day is
That's
financial
that's when
freedom.
I
Go
become
ahead.
the African. That's when I become the African uncle trying to check out candies.
Read the definition, this lady.
Okay. So, financial freedom is our word of the day, guys. So, financial freedom, the status of having enough income or wealth significant to pay one living expenses for the rest of one's life, without having to be employed or dependent on. I think we have another portion of that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Dependent on others. Income earned without having to work a job is commonly referred to as passive income, and that is where Kenny is trying to get us all to.
And so the Swahili interpretation of that is Uhuru wa Wifadeha. I think I murdered that. So
Yeah.
do you know Swahili, Quinn?
No, bro. Sure, I'm from the West Coast.
I just asked because I ain't want to assume, so I don't want to ask, right?
My name is Kenneth.
Um,
Kenneth.
so wait, question. I got a question too. So what languages do you know? I've always thought about that. What language? Just English?
I speak Yoruba. Well, I'm not fluent in it. I came here when I was in my teenage years. So and I've been hanging around you guys so much. I don't even speak my language anymore, which is terrible.
Hey,
You
you
know,
can't. You speak Gary, Indiana.
you know. What y'all talking about? Gee.
Yeah, and it was cool. I was telling my wife that I said when he came, your brother wasn't he ahead of us? He was ahead of us. He was
Yeah, it
younger.
was like freaking 9 years old in ninth grade or something like that.
Yeah,
Shit.
I remember him. I'm like,
You're so smart.
it was funny because we would be walking in the surge, and I'd be looking at him, and then I look at us, and I'm like, we got a lot of work to do, man. He come from another country. He like 9 years old. He walking through the halls with us, and we 15, 16, 17, and he walking away. I'm like, that's crazy. So I've always was mess with me, like when I would see him. So, but yeah, y'all, and then with you were a little more. We kind of turned you out a little bit because your brother would talk a little bit. He would like entertain us. You would entertain us a little bit. Like, let's go over there and mess with Ken. You cracking jokes and stuff. So yeah. But we like to keep on the concourse here. We have Black Entrepreneur today, and I would like to share two. Let me grab this real quick. Where we at? Where'd it go? Oh wow! Here we go. Our friend, and we was just talking earlier, Siobhan, and it's what is it? Sold Out Extensions. See, I wouldn't know nothing about that because I don't, my hair,
No,
But
I know,
some
man.
people,
I get my extensions from her.
Congratulations to Siobhan for being our Black Entrepreneur of the Week for her hairline.
Great business. She started this a couple years ago, and so it's pretty cool to see where she's at now, doing her thing. And so I told her absolutely, I was going to share her business information with her extensions and stuff. And so this is her contact information. She's always on social media, posting videos and stuff. And so proud of her. I always like to say this: when you're moving into entrepreneur spaces, it's a totally different ball game. You understand what I'm saying? And so for her to have the courage to move away, and it takes time to do this stuff too. Learn business, learn how the money comes in, learning all those different parts of a business, how to run a business, advertising, products, and inventory and all that stuff. So salute to her. And so I want to give the shout out to highlight her for her work and what she's doing with her business. And then also we have another one too. And you could probably see the shirt that I have on. Well, you probably can't see it, but I got this made through Mary, I think Mary Kennedy, I think that's her last name. I apologize for I messed up her last name, but it's through her Rock True organization. And so they do a lot of different things. And so I'm sharing a couple of screens that I grabbed from her. And so they do health and space. So healthy and space. So this is on Broadway right there, 6004 Broadway. When I went to go meet Deontay Glover, she had her stuff in the back. And so some of the things she do is healthy food right here. And so you got the menu and all that. So you can order now through there on Broadway. She also has a pop-up shop with teas and sea moss and different things like that. And so there's the information right there. And then custom printing. And so that's where I got this shirt made. And so logos, anything she made, the shirt, she made the shorts. I got hoodie made and all that. So want to give her a shout out. And then also, I am so proud of this. I don't mean to cut you out, Kitty. That's just crazy how that worked, how that happened. But we have
super excited.
Our event is coming up August 27th. And it's about cleaning up the Little League and the best baseball Little League right there at Etna. And so we have a lot of stuff happening surrounding this. People helping, they're giving their time, giving their services, giving their money, they're sending their donations in. And so we would like to thank everyone who's supporting this. And so what we're trying to do, people, is we want to make sure that we're cleaning up, because we're one of those groups who like to get our hands dirty, right? And so we can't ask others to provide for us if we're not trying to help ourselves, right? And so I don't like ask people to do anything with me, right? But I want to make sure that we are organizing amongst each other, doing things like this to make sure that others can see, like, no, it doesn't take a whole lot to organize and mobilize and do things like this. And so we are starting this. This will be the first of many, hopefully. It's going to be on August 27th. It's only from 9 to 12. We, shout out to Mickey, because he's helped me plan this. Obviously, shout out to Candace, because this was her idea, obviously. Shout out to Antoine Clayton, because he's helped with the flyer and doing some maneuvering behind the scenes about getting stuff done. Shout out to Juan, because he's doing the haircuts. He's giving free haircuts. shout out to Joe McMillan, because I'm waiting to hear back from him, but he's going to be doing he's cutting the grass there, right? And so which is a major part of this cleanup of this project. And so shout out to those people, and then also Eddie Lowe, one of the first people to reach out and just say, hey, whatever you guys need, I'm there to help, and bringing people to reinforcing us in and to help with this. And so just pretty cool to see people supporting this. And so free food, obviously, Black Jesus, aka her dad, is going to be barbecuing brats, hot dogs, and burgers, right? And so if you want to bring food, I'm not saying you can't bring food, right? You can bring food. Just make sure that people ain't throwing up after they eat your food, right? But I'm just gonna throw that out.
We putting a waiver on there. If you bring food, don't give it to none of our people. We're not trying to get anybody sick.
But
I do want to say this real quick, just a short plug, because you Amaru, someone's coming out to cut the boys' hair. So we wanted to do something special for the little girls. So we're going to probably giving out gift cards to the little girls or the young ladies, young teens that actually come out. And also I asked one of my really good friends, she does my sister hair actually, and she's my makeup artist when I'm in Gary. Her name is Letitia, and she is going to be giving out a honorary hairstyle for a young lady. So make sure you guys come and support. We I like to connect and do partnerships with other individuals, just so that we can make sure that we're continuing to give back and we're plugging into the community. And one other thing I would just like to say is that when you ask someone to come on board with you and you ask them for help, if you're putting your work behind it and you're putting your hands to the plow, and you ask someone the first time, my dad said his mother always said, if you ask somebody for help the first time and they don't reply, maybe they didn't hear you. But if you ask them ask them again, and this time they probably heard you. But anything after that is begging. So the one thing that I would say for Ken and for you, Amaru, anything that I have asked them to do, they've actually executed it. They didn't drag their feet. They didn't procrastinate. They were very on top of things. And like the guys that he just named out that's on those flyers, they actually showed and proved. They literally stepped up and say, what is it that you guys need for us to do in order for this to make this event happen? So just thank you guys again.
Yes, and also we know about Bam, but they call it Jamar Bird, right? And so also helping behind the scenes. So it's cool to see people who we grew up with, who we grew up in the same space, right? Who want to help and be involved, and so shout out to those guys. Shout out to Candace also once again for the idea. We just want to make sure that we're putting our hands, so to speak, where our mouth is, right? Because a lot of people talk, right? They talk like I do this, or they like to complain, right? But we like to be involved and actually do some of the things that we talk about. And so we don't want to be the people on the sidelines just complaining all the time, right? We want to actually be getting our hands dirty. And so I'll put the flyer up again, and if you want to donate anything, like if there's money, right, you got the Cash App on there. This flyer is going to be circulating for the next couple weeks, and so the information is on there. If you want to donate gloves, or you want to donate trash bags, if you want to whatever, what's the little thing that you use to the little stick?
It's the trash picker up. I don't know the technical term for
it. If you want to donate that, please bring it on that day, right? Because or brooms or rakes, right? And we just want to make sure that we're helping clean it up, and have a good time. We'll have music there. Like she says, we're gonna have something for the girls, because I thought about it, I said, hey, that's kind of crazy. We don't have nothing for the girls. And so I always advocate for our Black women, right? So I want to make sure that we are balanced in how we view things, how we're going about things. And so this is going to be a cool day. Hopefully the weather permits. Please keep your prayers, right? All those prayer warriors now, pray for it to be a good day as far as the weather, right? But it should be a good time. And so again, we just want to be appreciative of everybody behind the scenes making this happen. And so kudos to everybody, and thanks to everybody who's supporting that cause. So with that being said, do we have any I got you, kid. I got you. Any closing remarks, any shout outs, or any closing remarks? Both of you guys, because we got a guest, so we still have a guest. So go ahead.
You want to go, Ken?
Well, I just went ahead. I wanted to send you guys some Bitcoin, but I figured you guys still need fiat. So I went ahead and contributed my little piece to the initiative. By the way.
Thank you.
That's what's up.
Hey man, I'm one of those
I
Edna folks. We're just on the little outskirts of Edna, on Clay Street. We're still from Edna. My younger brother went to Edna.
Oh, you did? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the youngest one.
um I do
Okay.
would like to say something before we end. This is for the ladies and the men, and I would just say this is contribute to for matters of the heart. I know oftentimes we all go through things and we feel like we're isolated, but God oftentimes he will separate you from people who are not meant from you. And then when it is your time to grow up or blow up, you're creating businesses, you have your spiritual walk, you're doing overall wellness with physical, mental, and spiritual. So it's okay, you're going to go through things, but what I will say is you're not isolated, you're separated so that God can get you where he needs you to be.
All right. Look at
Mm.
her living with the word. All right.
That's the
Um.
wisdom, man. So,
Yes.
like,
Wisdom.
what you
Right. That's
just
it.
said spoke to me because I had big dreams. At my age, I wanted to be a millionaire, but things didn't go as planned. But God has separated me from that relationship so I can start something else better and make a better impact on the community. Because what you said there, you did not know what it was touching, but it was touching my soul. It was kicking my butt on the inside. So that was good. Yeah, for real though, that's a serious statement. Sometimes you would think that the worst is happening to you because of that relationship has been broken, but you don't know that God he has intentionally created that separation so that you can go on the path that is intended for you. Because if that was the case, I would not be here doing what I'm doing today. I'll be in Nigeria, you know, doing something else.
Right on. That's what I'm talking about. Look at y'all. Y'all out here trying to inspire me. You know what I'm saying? But that's cool. Thank you guys again. Thank you guys for tuning in. Our next podcast is, I think it's 14 days from now, but yes, it's July 24th. It's community relations with the police, and we're talking with fellow officer Ezekiel Kelly. So that should be an interesting conversation. We will get we will try to lock up a date, Kenny, with you after that for be part two, so we can actually get to some moving parts with the cryptocurrency. But we'll talk about that offline. But thanks again, everybody. Sorry we went a little long, but we all when you have a good conversation about things that matter, it tends to flow that way. So thank you guys for checking in. We love you guys. We're signing off. Have enjoyed the rest of your night.
Like and share. Thanks, guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye.